Rev up your engine. Okay, the guy bought it years ago, had 80,000 miles. Now he's doubled it. It's got like 160,000 miles. So he paid 10 grand used. He definitely got his money's worth. But let's say you're going to buy this thing today. Would that make sense? Or would it not make sense? Well, to begin with, this is a Tennessee car, so you can see it's clean. It's not rotting away, so you don't have to worry about rust on the frame or anything. You got a 4-liter single overhead cam V6 engine. It's actually a very reliable engine. This one's got 160,000 miles, doesn't burn any oil. These are great engines because there's no turbos on them. They're normally fuel injectored, so they don't have problems with any carbon buildup. And it's pretty well set up when they do break for replacing parts. The problem with these Fords, of course, is that this isn't a plain old rear-wheel drive one, which is simpler. This, you can see, you can have auto, 4x4 high, 4x4 low. The weakest thing is the 4-wheel drive system. It costs more, it weighs more, and of course it makes these things gas hogs. He says he probably averages about 16 in this thing. If you don't need a 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive vehicle, my advice is don't buy it, especially if you're buying an older one. Now, he's put 80,000 miles on it. He's got his 10 grand worth out of it. But let's say you were going to buy this vehicle today, I would try to talk you out of it. It's going to be super expensive. When it finally goes out, it's probably going out a little now. We're going to check it with a scan tool. Now, on the other hand, if you're a mechanic like me, you can find a lot of good-looking ones like these in the South that don't move under their own power, and you can pick them up for $400 or $500. Then you could put the transmission transfer case in yourself. If you're a riverboat gambler, you like rolling the dice, try one in a junkyard. But really, the age of this, they're pretty worn too. You're better off getting remanufactured units. If you're willing to spend that kind of money, go right ahead. Consider what a new 4x4 costs. Hey, you got to put 4 or 5 grand in one that you picked up for $500. That's not a bad deal. But if you're the type of person that's looking for something you're going to buy used and you want to drive the family around in, I'd stay away from one of these 4x4s with 160,000 miles on it. Now let's start it up. Starts right up, and as you can hear and see, the engine's running smooth, doesn't make too much noise. These are excellent engines. It's the transmissions on these all-wheel drive ones that have the problems. Now, he's already replaced the hub on this side. I'm assuming this one's probably going to need replacing. Probably had some slippage, but for computer and look at the data first. And while it's looking up stuff, you can see it's the work truck. He's got all the stuff in here. AC gauges, you name it. You can use these for a work truck. Now, he actually does use a 4-wheel drive in his business and stuff. When it snows, doesn't sell that much around here, but it does once in a while. But mainly for mud and goop and rain and all that stuff. It does work well. Just realize, with the Fords, it has a limited lifespan. Just looked up, it's got everything explored, a 2V 4-liter automatic. So, up it comes, diagnosis, and here we go with an auto scan. And we're scanning around, you see he's not lying. It just turned 160,000 miles on it. And really, it doesn't look that bad. Of course, it's a Ford, so the radio's broken. But on the plus side, the air conditioner still works. And yes, it does have a sunroof. And you can see there's a few faults here. So we're going to go through them all. Just low, we don't care about. Occupant classification system, we don't care about that either. So we'll turn it off, we'll turn it back on, and we'll erase that stupid code. Now it's got a GEM module, a general electrical module. There's some codes there. They might lead to something. There's 4 of them. Typical with a Ford. They'll get wacko electronic stuff. You can see there's a whole bunch of them. But we really don't care. Lamp, headlamp, input circuit, short to ground. Okay, so what he's done is he's replaced the headlamps with the LEDs. And that's why he has all these headlamp codes, because it confuses the system. Now, they work. The warning light comes up on the dash, but it's Tennessee. Nobody does any kind of inspections. We don't care. The headlights work. But for those of you who live in some place where they check all that crap, realize you can't just replace stuff with LEDs. You got to make sure you have the right bells, resistors, all kinds of other crap. So, you know, if your headlights work okay, my advice in that case is leave them alone. If you got a Ford. Now, in a Toyota, they don't care. You just put the LEDs with belts, resistors, away they go. These are a little more particular. So, and the last one is satellite audio digital receiver system. Considering that the radio doesn't even work, you know, I don't think you're going to care much about that. But we'll see what it says just for kicks. ECU, electronic control unit, internal fault. an electronic control unit internal fault. Okay, well, really? Since it's for the radio system, we really don't care. What he's curious about is what kind of shape the powertrain's in, so we want to look at the live data. There's all the live data. We'll start looking at it. So far, everything's looking pretty good. We can see the output shaft data. We'll put it in gear. Now you can see it's 0 because we're in gear, and it's not spinning anymore. We put it in park, it'll start spinning again. So we know that data's being applied, and it's real data. You see there's no misfires. The fuel rate pressure, 370, 364, 368.45. So it's real close what it's commanding and what it's getting. So even the fuel pump's in excellent shape. Here's the fuel pump percentage. Okay, it's running at 24% now. If we rev it up, of course, it'll go higher. These injectors are fine. They got no faults. It's a 4-liter engine, and the mass airflow sensor is 3.95. 92, that's right spot on. That's working fine. The module's fine, 14.21. And you can see in the transmission, the output shaft speed failure mode. That has no faults. Pressure control modules on the transmission, no fault. Gives you their pressure. Shift solenoids on. It shows there's no faults with the shift solenoids either. And the torque converter unlocking due to slipping. There's no faults in that. So if it is slipping, it's not slipping bad. But what we're going to do here is we're going to put down torque converter data and we're going to record it. And here we go. Still handles decently. But he's worried about his transmission. So the liftgate jar is open because he got something out of the trunk and didn't close it. So you can't blame the truck on that, right? It's way too hot in here. The heat works. We'll turn that off. Now I can feel a slight slippage taking off there, but we'll go to our little drag strip. And here we go. Still got plenty of pulling power. The engine's working fine. The tranny isn't horrible. I can feel a little slippage, but let's see what it does when it's under a full load. There's nobody behind us, so here we go. Hey, it still takes off pretty good. Full load. Decent shift. Another decent shift. We'll let go. Downshifts very smoothly. No jerking yet. Now we'll see what passing gear goes like. We'll floor it. Smooth. Still working pretty good. All in all, I meant to Ford things rattle as they age. But, hey, it's still running pretty good. Oh, Bonnie and Clyde, they used to steal Fords all the time because they said they were nice, fast getaway cars. And hey, this thing, it's still got get up and go with 160,000 miles. Now, I notice when I turn it hard here, I can feel a little slippage in the right front. Now, he's changed the hub on the left front, so he should change the hub on the right front. But when you're going straight, you don't feel any then. Now, as I said earlier, if this had been a conventional two-wheel drive Explorer with just rear-wheel drive and not the all-wheel drive system, I would tell somebody if they're going to buy this vehicle, go ahead and buy it because there's no codes to the transmission and no problems. But with that transfer case, I'd be real leery about buying one of these things used in an all-wheel drive version. So we'll go back in time here. We'll start looking at the information as it plays back. And all of that is black. It's all normal. It didn't slip much at all. 160,000 miles now. He's put 80 of them on. He's getting his money's worth. He did have to change that hub, and eventually he'll have to change the one on the other side. Transmission isn't slipping too much. You saw in the road test, upshift, downshift. The engine runs like a top. Now, if I had a customer looking to buy this thing, I would try to talk them away. Find one with the four-wheel, all-wheel drive system on it because that will eventually break and cost a fortune to fix. If this had been just the rear-wheel drive one, I would have put hands down, buy it at a good price because it's in excellent shape. Yeah, the radio doesn't work. Who cares? You can put another radio in it. Got stupid communication codes. We don't care about that either. With the four-wheel drive system, I would be exceptionally leery if I were you buying one with 160,000 miles unless they had information that the transfer case has been replaced or rebuilt, front assemblies have been replaced left and right. It's not going to go 300,000-400,000 trouble-free miles. Now you got to take in consideration that it's a normally aspirated V6 engine, doesn't have turbochargers, doesn't have gasoline direct injection. So an old thing like this, hey, it's a shame it isn't just rear-wheel drive because then it wouldn't need anything done. It might last them quite some time, but eventually that four-wheel drive system is going to go out. With a Ford, unlike Subarus, the all-wheel drive systems have a limited lifespan on it. Don't run it good enough. Now, yeah, the front wheel, like I said, it's slipping a little because he didn't change the right side. But eventually, that transfer system's going to go out, and then it's going to cost a fortune to fix, where if it was rear-wheel drive, you just keep cruising down. And you got so much less to fix, too. If the transmission breaks on just the rear-wheel drive, that's it. So it's a lot simpler, and it's going to last a lot longer. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.